Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 27 of Direwolf20's Forgecraft series. Chilling a little bit by myself on the server. As you guys may know, if you follow along on Twitter, I've had a hectic couple of weeks. Things have been a little bit shenaniganry, but things are settling down now. And luckily I had the backlog to support such levels of shenanigans. But today I want to get more into Thaumcraft. Now, the good news is we've upgraded Thaumcraft to a new version, which may... I don't know what the versions had. I think I said last episode what I was hoping to get out of upgrading the versions. So last episode was recorded like over a week ago because I had some like crazy real life stuff happen. And you guys know me, I don't get into the real life stuff too much, so I won't, but you know, everything's good, everything's sorted out, everything's better. So we will get back into making videos, and I just have to remember what I was working on last episode. So I know last time we were over here with this dude. Hey, what's up with you? Why do you have a thing going on? I learned something new. What did I learn? Did I get a new thing? I learned something new, apparently. What that is, I'm not 100% sure, but I definitely learned something new. So there's flux rifts, and there's closing flux rifts, and like, do you have a effect handler? I don't know. I don't know what's up with that piggy. But he's definitely... I learned something new from him. Ooh, I learned something new again. Haha. Gotta play that scan all the things game. Is it getting dark out? Yeah, it's just nighttime. Okay, I was a little bit nervous there. So we got this big rift that we created last. And he absorbed all the flux, which is good. Now we just have to figure out like what's gonna happen as a result of this. So let's head back to our base, and what is this in the distance now? Tema, please. Tema, please. What is this? What is this? I need to ask him because we updated the server with the copy paste tool, and I need to ask him if he used that to make this. Tema, Tema, please. What is this? Is he online right now? I have to find out. Yeah. So we updated the version of Building Gadgets, which has the copy-paste gadget, which is, by the way, super cool and available for you guys in alpha if you're so inclined. It's available on CurseForge as an alpha. I'm not running into too many bug reports, which is a good sign. And if Tema played with it, and I know Soren played with it the other day, and neither one of them have any major bug reports, I'm feeling pretty good. But long story short, it's available now, so yay. I might even make one, we'll see. Yeah, that is awesome. I wonder if he used construction paste for these, or if he got all the blocks. That's a question. Yeah, look, construction blocks. He did use construction paste. Nice. That's cool. They're all made out of construction blocks. How neat is that? Huh? He made giant RW Temas out of construction blocks. That is cool. Are they all construction blocks? They must be. I'm gonna ask him, like, did he do that? How did he do that? I want to know. I want to know how Tema did that. But that's hilarious. I had things and stuff I planned for, but they've all just been like erased out of my brain as I try to comprehend what I just witnessed. But so let's see. What do we got? So last episode we discovered flux rifts and all that happens there. We've got flux cleanup, turn pure flux in the aura into flux essentia. So that's going to be the flux condenser and the flux condenser lattice. So I might want to read about that multi-block structure. And then there's also closing flux rifts, which is a causality collapser, which requires some nitor, some elementum, some of that, and very high instability. So remember last time when I did moderate instability and like we just barely pulled it off? This one's very high. So we're going to want to be a little bit cautious, but it should be manageable. So why don't I do this? I'm going to read the flux cleanup chapter first, because if we look at you, like we have some flux in and around this area, right? So if I could learn how to clean up the flux mess that I've already made, that would be good. And then if I can learn how to close the flux rift, that would be cool too. So let's try and do that this episode. And then I feel like we're kind of reaching towards the end of what's available for Thaumcraft, but I'd really like to know if there's any like Flux-based. I'm assuming that there's a thing. There's definitely got to be a thing that unlocks. Oh, alchemical metallurgy, 3 out of 3. Oh. So it's complete now, but I didn't learn anything new. That's weird. Why is that a thing? Why did that finish just now, but I didn't learn anything new about it? That's weird. Huh. And hey, the basalts thing still exists, so that's cool. And that cleans off my my warp, which I don't have too bad of right now. All right, let me read this chapter and figure out what the plan is, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so here's what we got to make based on the reading that I just did. We have to make 1 flux condenser, and then we can make many flux condenser lattice pieces that can all connect above the flux condenser, and it does have to be above. Somewhere here says that. Must be above the condenser itself. But there's different rules we have to follow. So they can be chained together, but you don't want like too many chained together or they start to have diminishing returns. Each one that you add reduces the time it takes to suck flux out of the aura, but it increases the cost, right? So eventually it costs a lot more than it reduces the time, right? So like there's definitely a theoretical point that I'm sure somebody somewhere has done the math on, but I haven't, so I'm just gonna wing it. So let's make a flux condenser, and let's start with like 1 or 2 lattices, and then we'll kind of go from there. So we're gonna need some brass plates, and we're gonna need arcane mechanism. So I'm gonna make all this stuff, and we'll be right back. So I'm looking for a better source of Precantio, and I am not finding anything. So what I'm doing is I'm converting a lot of the excess essentially I have, like Terra and Herba and Potentia, into the crystals, so I can turn those into Salus Mundus, so that I can turn those out into whatnot. So that's the plan, to get lots of Salus Mundus, to get lots of Precantio. That's the idea, at least. And I bet I could like come up with some kind of nifty automation system to make this super cool. But for now, that should be cool. Why don't I get 1 more of these, just so I can have an even 32 of each. Thank you. All right, so then you guys should essentially be that, a bowl, flint, and redstone, and that should be a splattering of Salus Mundus. Sweet. And that should be a hefty amount, like 100-ish. Do I hear a baby zombie? Because I hate baby zombies. I hate them. They're evil. Evil, I say. Cool. So now with you guys done, we can cook up. So my plan was basically get a bunch of thaumium and a bunch of brass. So back in a minute when that's all done and done. All right, so we need 1 morphic resonator. We need a complex arcane mechanism, which requires sticks. It's funny when you like are missing 1 silly little thing, like sticks, because you're like, yeah, I got everything I need. Oh, I don't have everything I need. So then that will be that. So we'll do 1 complex thingy for now. And then the tubes. Do we have any more Essentia tubes? We have 2. We're going to probably want a few more of those, so we'll deal with it. And then, oh, wood. Because of course. Cool. So that should be it for the flux condenser. Don't tell me I don't have enough stuff available. 5 aqua, perdicio, and air. Needs more aqua crystals. All right, cool. Not a huge problem. U for aqua. And that's cool. And that's stage 1 of this. Flux condenser. Yay! Dudes, I just came over to look at this and things are happening. Oh boy. I've learned something new. Taint research completed. I did the learn thing. Hold on, everybody. Nobody panic. But we're gonna have to do something about this guy. I got him, right? Are we cool? What's this thing? I'm a little bit nervous about this situation, but we're gonna see what's up. Little bit nervous. Little teeny tiny bit nervous. Vidium crystals, huh? Oh, look at it. It's all turning into flux. That's so cool. And the thing closed by itself. I like it. I really do. I think it's so neat. Is it going to clean up by itself now? Are we in a taint biome? It still says biome taiga. So I think we're cool. And it looks like the taint's cleaning itself up now that that taint seed is gone. But that's a guess, which I don't really have an accurate answer for. Let's come back here in like 5 or 10 minutes and see what's up. All right, so dealt with that. But now we can look in the Thaumonomicon. I'm curious to see, ooh, things. Angry Zombie, newly discovered research. And Tainticle. That's cool. Did we get anything else new? Like I scanned that thing that was splurting bad things everywhere. The taint seed or whatever it was. But I don't seem like I picked up any new stuff from that, which is kind of bummerish. And I could have sworn that there would be like some kind of void metal or something. That's why I thought Chapter 3 wasn't locked yet. But I mean, I'll have to jump into a test world and see if I can't like cheat my way through some research and figure out if I'm missing something, if there's some kind of weird bug happening, or it was just not implemented yet, which is 100% possible. But anyway, back to sucking flux out of the environment. We're going to need the flux condenser lattice, which requires a bunch of nether quartz and an essentia filter, which is just gold with silverwood planks around it. So that shouldn't be too hard. So silverwood planks, I'm gonna put away you guys. We got some gold going here. So you, sir, just get a bunch of you because, you know, things. And then you can be used. We're just gonna need the quartz now. Sweet. So I literally have just enough quartz to make 2. So a quartz run is in my future, as we can probably assume. But now we've got at least 2 of these, so that's fancy fun times. All right, you guys can go away. I'm probably gonna regret this, because like in 10 minutes I'm gonna be looking for this and be like, where did my plates go? I'm direwolf, I forget what I do every 5 seconds. But we'll manage, right? So that's clean enough for now. So let's check this out, right? So to make this work, right? So let's look at F3G just to see like how's this area for flux. We're at 42 here. And that's probably the largest flux in the environment. 25, 25. Like it does spread a little bit, but like it's always around the central point of where you suck in or cause the flux to happen, and that's definitely here. So we're gonna want to turn that off. So let's build this guy within. We'll keep it on for now, so that we can play within the realm of what's up. So you, sir, could do a build to me of dirt, perhaps? Just to flatten out this terrain, and maybe just to make things look a little bit nicer. That should be cool. All right, so then over here, we'll have our flux condenser with 1, 2 lattice nodes on top of it. Now, it did also say in here that we could use what? to figure it out. Resonator on the condenser itself to figure out the cost and conversion rate. Okay, so let's remove both of these for a minute. Do I have a resonator yet, or did I never actually make one of those because I didn't do a lot? So 4 iron plates, quartz and stick. So 5 essentia tick times 0. So if I put that on there, right? 29 seconds to suck in the flux. And you, sir, would be 28 seconds to flux. Okay, so that's cool, sucking in the flux. So see how suction is 128 untyped? So this thing can absorb pretty much any flux, or any essentia there is, right? Did I use both my pipes? I could have sworn that I had an extra tube laying around. Ah, there it is. So we can pump anything into there, which is kind of nice because this will serve as a form of like a dump of excess essentia. So like as we've observed, there's definitely some essentia like potentia that you get lots of just by nature of the fact that like you don't need it for a lot of things. Or metallum. Metallum's like a really good one. I think I should be even using metallum over it anyway. So let's actually do this. Let's do iron. I'm just gonna throw one of these dudes in here real quick. And then we're gonna want to label as well. Because I took beautiful. So now you will be a second void jar for metallum, right? And then we can kind of alternate these guys as needed because we're always getting tons of metallum, right? So this guy should, in theory, drain a bunch of metallum and it pipes out the bottom. So we're going to want some more essentia tubes. So that's just going to be 2 iron plates, quicksilver, and alchemical brass nugget. Hey, look at the V battery. Sweet. Looks like it's charged itself up, which is kind of cool. And then you're used... Oh, I need glass. And then you're used to make this guy. And then we'll probably want a jar. Now, hopefully you do that correctly. Look, it's doing the thing. Sweet. So every 28 seconds, it's draining. Look at that. It drained. Nice. 40.2. Cool. I learned something new. 40.2, and there's 2 Vitium in there. Right? So when there's 3 Vitium in there, it should be less flux in the aura. So the cost here is 5 essentia and 28 ticks. Now, if I made some more flux condenser lattices, it would be faster. Look, 3 essentia, 39.2. Sweet. But boy, are you using a lot of metallum. Either that or you're just storing a lot of metallum. Ow, baby. Zombie. So that's neat. Okay. I like it. I like it. I like the mechanic of how it's doing that. Thaumcraft is such a cool mod, you guys. And I only say that because having recently got into modding and like I've always had like a great appreciation for how hard mod developers work on their mods, but having recently got into it, it's like, wow, it's actually really it's even a little bit harder than I thought it was. You know, it's like it's not impossible. And anybody who's considering even trying it, I highly recommend it, right? But you know, there's a lot of time and effort involved. It's not hard, but it is time consuming. So when you come into a mod like Thaumcraft, where there's just so much stuff, and it's also cool, you're like, wow, somebody put a lot of time into this. And that somebody's name is Azanor. All right, let me get some more quartz so I can make some more of this stuff. And we'll be right back. And we're teleporting. Woohoo! So let's put away a bunch of this stuff, among other things that we got as drops while we were out there. And make a few more of those flux resonators and see what the dealio is. Also, word is that these things, which have neat little particle effects on them, look at that, can get clogged, as it were. So we got to watch out for that. So flux, condenser lattice needs the Essentia filters and the thaumium plates. Okay. I grabbed everything except what I needed. So I'm going to leave the remaining 4 in there. So like they have to be in a line, right? Here's the word on the street with the importance. They have to be attached to the top of the condenser, and all the connected lattice pieces must be above the condenser itself. I can attach as many lattice pieces together, but any lattice pieces further than 8 blocks from the condenser will automatically detach. It's theoretically possible to pack a large amount of lattices in its 8 block range, but the benefit a lattice piece provides is reduced for each other lattice piece it is connected to. Aha. So you don't want to like connect them to a lot of pieces. It may appear that a single unbroken line of lattices would be the best configuration, but occasionally the filter in a lattice piece becomes clogged and unusable. All lattice pieces after the clogged one will no longer aid the conversion speed, though they will add to the cost. The filter can be replaced by clicking on it with a clogged lattice piece with a fresh one. So basically, what I'm thinking is something like this. You know what? Not this. Oh, hey, you're still in that mode, huh? Something like this, which is cool because it's kind of like an antenna structure almost, right? Like it almost makes me think of like an antenna where it's not like, so like the number of connected pieces is a negative, right? So this is connected to 1 piece, this is connected to 3. So this one's not doing as good as these guys, right? This is connected to 2, this is connected to 3, this is connected to 1 to 1. So I think like that kind of structure is neat. So let's take a quick look at what that is at now. Okay. That's interesting. Cost 6 Essentia, 28 seconds. So the cost has gone up, but the time has really not gone down by much. Right? Interesting. Let's just experiment with that. What sounds like a good idea, but isn't actually. I'm just curious, like, what that looks like. So that actually doesn't seem to improve things a whole lot, does it? Interesting. I mean, it saves you a couple seconds, like 2 seconds, right? And hey, we're already down to 26.2, which is cool. But it doesn't look to me like there's a whole lot of benefit gained. Like this is your kind of, yeah, unless I'm missing something. Unless you want like far more of these. Let's just get a few more, right? Hey, what's up? Why, you know, air crystals? Is that what we need more of? Air? Yeah. I totally have to do that research that lets me like grow my own crystals and whatnot. But for now, just creating them this way works pretty well. Hey, why do you know I have label on you? Anybody else not labeled? Nope, you're good. So like, just for giggles, right? I'm like experimenting with the numbers here. I mean, the cost goes up, the time goes down a little bit. I guess it's like, what's more important to you, time or essentially cost, right? But even with just one, you're talking 29 seconds. So like, is it that important that you save 5 seconds? I don't know. I don't see that it is. It's an interesting thing to play with, though. So yeah, that gives me what? 25 seconds. Interesting. Interesting to be sure. Well, we'll yeah, see, that didn't even make a difference. 508 ticks, 518 ticks. Well, it saves me half a second. Yeah. Like, part of me wants to just leave this here because it looks cool, and then, like, the other part of me is like, it's really not helping that much. But it's all good. So you've already accumulated 19 of that stuff, and this thing will continue to drain. And now I'm wondering if, like, going into adjacent chunks, if the adjacent chunks will start spilling into this chunk. That's my question, right? Will this chunk start once he's like fully cleaned up by this mechanic, right? Which, you know, we need to rate 22. Did it just go up? It might have. 22 times 25 seconds, right? So 15 minutes, give or take, like on the upper end, and that should be good. So maybe I'll just come back in 15 minutes. 21.2. All right, yeah, 25.8 and 21.2. So I did a silly thing. We were getting low on metallum, so I'm like, hey, I'll make more metallum. And when I made more metallum, I also made more flux. So, whoops. But that's okay. We'll continue to experiment. So, like, what'll happen is, I mean, this is still over here, 25.8, so that's cool. So the flux in this chunk just went up a little bit because I did this thing, right? But that's okay. That's okay. It's all cool. Right? So what I'll do is, I think what I'm going to do is wrap up the episode here, and then we'll come back next episode, and we'll answer the question of what happened to this stuff. All right? So for now, Donald20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll come back next time. Thumbcraft, I think, unless I'm mistaken, is for the most part wrapped up, unless we want to play with closing riffs, but I'm going to hold off on that for now. And we'll see if there's anything else in particular we want to make, but I think we mostly covered most of it. But I'm going to check in a single player world. I'm going to just, you know, like / give me all the research command. Make sure I'm not missing anything, and then we'll have fun. All right, guys, take it easy.